All right, aloha and welcome to another Aloha Friday drip.
Special edition
from just my home because our office is extremely hot.
Yeah.
And we were over it. So, we were like, you know what? Let's go post up at the house.
Work where there's some AC.
And food and pool. I'm jumping in the pool.
And Brittany's great to have around as well. Dude,
amazing.
It's good. Some good home vibes for today's work day.
So we're at the house, dude.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Dude, real quick before we jump in, I think it's good to point out that we could have very easily called it a day and gone home.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well,
we did, but we're continuing to work is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just have to endure and just kind of deal with these difficulties, and find solutions to continue the work forward. Also, we haven't complained. We've said it's hot, but there hasn't been a ton of complaining, which I think is cool. We have Strat, Nico, and Jaden here from our neighboring islands, and there's been zero complaints.
Yeah, well,
though it's been hot,
I've been a little diva.
No, you've been pointing out that it's hot. I wouldn't necessarily call it a complaint.
That's why.
But there really hasn't been a ton of negative energy because of the heat, and I think that I just want to point that out to everybody that's been involved these past couple of days.
Yeah,
it says volumes about you guys.
Just to paint this perspective, the office AC is out, and we usually record a number of these at a time, right? So we'll go back to back recording some. That's why last episode you heard us talking about it, and this episode you do too, because last episode we recorded about an hour ago.
Yeah, and it was in the office, and it was way too hot, so we had to get out of there.
So we pivoted.
We were dripping sweat. Anyway, let's dive in today, dude. We're at your house, so I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. I want to kind of talk to you about two different things, but the first thing being you have a beautiful home here. You know what I mean? And this is going to be posted on YouTube, so people are going to see it. So I definitely want to address that. You have a beautiful home, big pool, big yard. You can see the ocean from your backyard. It's beautiful. Multifamily has obviously impacted your life and your family's life immensely. Yeah. So that's the very first question I wanted to ask you is what are the biggest ways that working in multifamily, finding success in multifamily has impacted your life? Gosh, that's
such a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. Sorry.
And no, dude, but I love that topic because I feel like we talk about it indirectly probably a lot of the times. But it's not all the time that we talk about it directly, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, tons of ways.
Yeah.
Literally tons of ways. Meaning, quality of life, obviously, my relationships, and we can get into all this kind of stuff.
Dude. Yeah.
And personal, self-worth and confidence and all those kind of things. So I'll paint this picture, which was before I got into multifamily. And, I've talked about this before, but I learned about multifamily right as I found out that I was going to become a dad. And the only thing I ever knew I wanted to be was a dad, bro. I knew I wanted to be a dad, and I knew what kind of dad I wanted to be. I was very intentional and specific with that. I wanted to be there. I wanted to provide in all aspects, temporally, spiritually, emotionally. I wanted to be there, be very present. But during this time, I find out I'm become a dad, and I'm the opposite. I'm not close to where I need to be, right?
To be able to be those things you want to be.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean, dude, you can make money a whole bunch of different ways, and it's not that I was making some money, but money is one small aspect. You can make that a million ways. I needed a way to, once again, I wanted to provide in all aspects. I guess if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so we had just had to sell a home.
Yeah.
So even though I was making some money, I didn't understand I was not in a good space, a good position. And I had a lot of fear, I believe, just a ton of fear. I'm about to become a dad, and I'm putting Britt through a lot, I felt like, as well. And so how has it impacted my life? I mean, tons of ways. I mean, I look at removing fear, like my fear that I had for my ability to provide for my family. Because even though I was providing at least decent, even though we had to sell a home, we didn't lose a home, we just had to sell a home. That's still a tough swallow. I was still providing, but the fear was massive because if one small shift happened, I got laid off or I got, lost a contract or whatever, I just felt like I was on that brink. Always.
Yeah.
One small disruption and I was...
Yeah, one step away from disaster, basically, is kind of what you're saying here.
Totally. And so what does that cause you to do? Fear causes you to not be your best self. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So removing that fear, and how does it remove my fear? Well, a lot of different ways, you know. So it's created peace of mind. So we can talk about that a little bit. And interrupt me anytime, dude. It's like that question. I don't even know where to go with it.
I know.
You know?
It's kind of a big question. So get a little bit more specific here, dude. We can see how it's impacted your life. You have a great relationship with your kids. You have a beautiful home. You live on Maui. You have a great relationship with your wife. And that's stuff that people see, right? People see that on social media. So I would like, if you don't mind, dude, I'd like to talk about the stuff that people don't see, that it's impacted your life. I know about these things because we've had conversations about them. Okay. But to kind of pull some of those things out of like, how has it helped your relationships? How has it helped you be a better father? And what kind of freedom has it given you to be able to do those things?
My relationship with Britt and my family is the most important thing ever. It drives everything. And I'll tell you an experience that I had, dude. We were laying in bed when I was living in Austin. And this is the beginning of all these stages, dude. And Britt was talking about, you know the poem Footprints in the Sand?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's talking about footprints in the sand. We're laying in bed. And I'm thinking, but she's relating it, the way she's saying it. I understand what the footprints in the sand is and who's carrying you. It's JC, Jesus Christ. That's the thing. God, whatever.
Yeah.
But how she's saying it, I'm thinking that she's talking about me carrying and helping. That's literally what I'm thinking because I'm working my ass off, dude.
Yeah.
Trying to provide, trying to do these kind of things. And we get to the end of that, and she's talking about the reason she needs that help is because of what I'm doing. So not only am I not the one that's carrying, I'm the one that is causing there to be problems that she needs to be carrying. And I just remember laying in bed being like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Talk about an eye opener, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why was that happening? It's because I was very uncertain about the future, man. And I was fearful about the future. And I had, my whole focus was on that, like making sure that I'm providing. It's such an interesting thing. Think about that. We work so hard to provide for our families, so hard that we don't have any time to spend with our family.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Think about the oxymoron there. Is it called an oxymoron?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, you know? So those eye-opening events have happened multiple times throughout my life. So how has it helped? It's helped me be able to have the time to just think about her, you know?
Yeah.
And think about my kids and how can I teach my kids and how, you know, wealth principles and life principles. And I'm confident enough to be able to know, like, I have a direction in life that I can do those kind of things. And, you know, financially, dude, it's one of the best ways to be able to teach is experiences.
Totally.
And listen, money is only a tool. It's a tool. That's all that is. And it's a tool that allows you to provide great experiences.
Dude, there's a couple of things that I want to pull out there. The very first thing I want to pull out is you had that tough conversation with Britt, and she opened your eyes there, and that motivated you to be better. That motivated you to take action, to do things better, to provide for your family in more ways than just financially. And I think that's a huge thing and a huge golden nugget to pull out as well, because I think a lot of people fall in that trap of that provide trap.
Yep.
That they forget and they lose focus of what's important, and that's just loving your family.
Yeah.
And that's just making sure they're taken care of, not just financially,
but
spiritually, temporally, emotionally, and all those other things as well.
But dude, here's the thing, like, it's so easy to talk about that, right? Like, meaning, yes, of course you should spend time with family, of course you should do those kind of things, but in the reality, I've been poor, bro. I've had things taken from me because I've seen that in my life. And oddly enough, I believe it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing because it makes me grateful for everything.
Totally.
And it motivates me, but it can be a curse too, because what do I think of? It's like, no, I need to get to this point because I don't want anybody to, money motivates me. It does. Success motivates me, but nothing, I'm telling you, motivates me more than separating myself as far from that as possible. So here's the slippery slope though, right? What is that? Because once again, if I'm working a 9-to-5 job and I'm making money, but what happens the minute that I pass away? The minute something happens, the minute all of that is wiped away.
Yeah.
So This is why I talk about accumulation versus utilization, like accumulating, trying to, maybe that's peace of mind. No, it's not, dude. Peace of mind is knowing, and this might sound morbid to some, but I've mentioned this multiple times. Like, I think about my death all the time.
That's a great principle.
My mortality, dude. Yeah. And if I were to pass away right now, how would Paxton, Marley, Britt, how would their life be?
Yeah.
And if all of it is relying on me, all that income is me, all that the minute I pass, that income's gone. Well, that provides zero peace of mind, dude.
Yeah.
Zero. But my assets far exceed my liabilities, which means now if I were to pass away, quality of life, they would miss me. Hopefully. Some days. But financially, their quality of life would not change. It would not falter at all. That peace of mind is huge.
Yeah.
That peace of mind allows me to be like, hey, I need to take a day and go do this.
Yeah.
Reminding myself like that it's okay to do this because I'm going to go spend some time here, right?
Yeah.
Put some deposits in over here.
Yeah.
It allows me to do that. Like and what does that allow me to do? It allows me to work at a more efficient rate, which makes me also more money. Why do the rich get richer? It's because if they're using money as a tool, they have peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you an example of this. And they buy back their time. Like, who's out in my yard right now?
The landscapers.
And I just had this conversation at Peak Partnership with people within our own company that still mow their own damn lawn.
Yeah.
Somebody tells me that they value their time, but they're still spending X amount of time mowing their lawn. No, you don't. You don't understand the value of time.
Yeah.
What do you do with wealth? You take wealth and you buy back your time, dude. Whether that be having landscapers, whether that be having different team members come on, whether it be having somebody that comes and cooks and cleans. What does that allow us to do? Spend time with family, dude.
On the things that are most important to you.
Yes.
Whether that's family for you as family, whether that's something else for somebody else.
Yep.
It allows you to spend that time with what you're passionate about. Dude, as you're talking, what comes up is a lot of people always talk about do something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do something that you're passionate about. You'll never work a day in your life.
Yep.
Right? I almost feel like as you're kind of talking right here that it's not real estate that you're super, super passionate about. You're passionate about your why and whatever it is that's going to help you fulfill that why.
Yep.
That help you is going to attract that why.
Yep.
So I think that's a great actionable to pull out right here. Maybe that do something you're passionate about and you'll never work a day in your life. Maybe that's not always so true. Because you can find passion in whatever it is that you're doing as long as it's pushing you towards that right thing. That's kind of what you're saying. Is that right?
Yes, dude. You become very passionate about anything that helps you live your purpose.
Yeah.
Very passionate.
Right.
Like you just do.
Yeah.
And there's, we all each have different callings and things that, strengths that we work within or, things that interest us and great, for sure. But we've mentioned this before. If the only thing that I did on a day-to-day basis was just multifamily investing, buy, sell properties, dude, I would not be fulfilled.
Yeah.
I get fulfilled. My definite major purpose is three things, right? Time with family, providing my family the life that they deserve, and there's, multiple levels to all that, and then being in a position to provide value to others and help other people, man.
To give back, right.
To give back, yeah.
Right.
Why? Because that's driven me for my whole life, dude. For all those things are deep-rooted for a reason.
Yeah.
So when you find something, a vehicle that helps you get that, you become very passionate about it.
Right.
Very.
Right.
So multifamily will never be my passion and my gratitude for it will never be because of a dollar amount.
Right.
It'll always be because it helps me live my purpose, my why, and live the life that I
deserve.
Yeah.
Say it. No, yeah, no, for real. Though.
I was going to say never dreamed of, but
deserve. No, but deserve. Everybody deserves to have a good life and the life they dream of.
Yep.
I truly believe that. But you have to do the actions and put in the work to be able to attain that, right? And that's what you're saying. You have to find whatever it is that's going to help drive you towards your dream life or whatever it is that you desire.
Yeah, to be a blessing instead of a burden, And listen, if you're living your purpose, you will be a blessing. If you're not living your purpose, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're probably going to be a burden, because you're not going to be fulfilled.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Gosh, dang. Okay, dude, that's really the first part that I wanted to cover. Thank you for diving into that. I know you got personal on some of those stuff, but so valuable for our listeners to hear and for me to hear. I definitely benefited a ton from that. So thanks for diving into that, dude. The second thing that I wanted to talk about, we're obviously here in your home, is if somebody was to come in here and sit down with you and talk about multifamily, you probably aren't going to go down the rabbit hole of I do multifamily for all of these passions that you just now went over. You're probably not going to go that deep with somebody just coming into your house. So if someone was to ask you about multifamily and they want to know a little bit more than just, I buy multifamily properties with other people's money and get them their returns and we get a cut. That's really super simple way to explain it. If you were to explain it more in depth, how would you go about it? Let's just go through the process.
I love it.
Of acquiring a property, of what you do.
Well, we can dive into some of that, man, but it's interesting because I just had a brain fart there for a second. I was gonna say, sorry.
Yeah.
Last episode, we talked about belief. Mm-hmm. That's our number one core value.
Right.
So my first default thing that I want to do when somebody asks me what I do is enhance their belief on what is possible in their life. It's like the first thing that I want to do. And it's. I just had some people over my house. We have people over the house all the time. You know that?
Yeah.
And I think it was the Kentucky Derby party.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And we're sitting right here. And they start talking about investing in real estate.
Having no idea that that's what you do?
I think that people know.
Yeah, maybe they were just throwing it out there, hopefully hoping that you would talk about it.
No. They were giving advice on how to invest in real estate.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be like, well, let me tell you.
Hey, you're wrong there, bucko.
Yeah, you're.
Thanks for coming to my party. Now let me tell you how you're wrong.
Yeah. But I was just listening, and I was like, man, this is where people get in trouble.
Yeah.
People get in trouble because you have somebody, and the individual here is a very convincing person. He is a very convincing person. And I'm just listening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. That convincing person is now convincing this person who wants to be convinced. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And why doesn't it make sense is because, well, number one, that person doesn't even invest. They just know a theory of investing, right? The other side of it, they're not asking any questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been able to get to where I'm at because I just ask questions all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to ask. I just want to know.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking questions all the time, dude. And so if somebody really does like, hey, how do you we developed a whole education company to teach people exactly how to do that. But also, what does our investment company do? We are where we are as a family. I'll say that because of passive and active investing. Passive and active. Dude, I've rented a home up until we just bought a couple homes here. Yeah. Always rented. Yeah. Why? Because what was my money doing? It was putting it into an investment, living here, like poor cash wise, right? Because it's always in real estate, and just letting that run, growing to a point where it's like, well, okay, well, now I'm buying a house not because it's an investment. And I know I'm kind of going on a tangent. I will circle back to that, I promise you.
Yeah.
But buying a house because we want to do it.
Yeah.
This house is a great little spot. But we want to redo the whole interior, we have a designer come over, and the designer's like, well, we could do this and, this, but this is probably going to cost like, I don't know, X amount. And I don't know if it'll get like, if you were to go resell, like that was another funny thing. She's like, I know this is your forever home. I'm like, it ain't my forever home. My forever home is going to be a big ass house on the beach. That's going to be forever home. This is close to the beach. It's right there. But I want on the beach. Yeah. So this won't be, but this will be a home for, I don't know, a certain period of time. Yeah. But, and I like correct it, and she's like, oh, cool. I'm excited to design that one too,
Yeah.
But she's like, this won't be a good return on investment. I was like, I'll be honest with you. I don't care about the return on investment. Think about that.
Yeah.
We invest in real estate for a living.
Yeah.
Like our job is to get a return on our investment. But I'll tell you what I care about is a place that I live that has maximum energy and everything that I want for my family in this home. Yeah. And so the ability to go into that.
Which, real quick, let me cut you off, which is a return on investment just in a different way.
It is. Indirect return.
Indirect, yep.
A lot of people are great at understanding direct return on investment, but they are horrible at seeing indirect return on investment. Mm-hmm. That's why they mow their damn lawn.
Exactly.
Because they
That's a great point.
Would rather mow their lawn, save money,
Right.
than utilize their money as a tool to have somebody else do it, which is valuable to that person.
Yeah.
That's utilizing it, right? Utilization that then allows you to maximize your time doing the things you want to do. That's an indirect return that will directly impact your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking about the lawn mowing example here. My lawn at my condo needs to be mowed.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that mows it.
And shit. I didn't even know I was calling you out right now, bro.
And it's been on my mind a ton, but I'm just like pulling forward the example. It's been on my mind a ton. It's a to-do. It's an at-home to-do that I need to get done. I need to mow the lawn. And I'm just thinking you probably never have that.
No.
You never have that stress or that burden of like, oh, I have all these chores at home that I need to get done. Which, like, thinking about it now, that would be so nice to not have to worry about those types of things and worry about what am I going to go do with my family after work rather than what do I have to do when I get home from work.
And we've talked about this too. I know we have where when I come home, it's like I want to dive in with family.
Yeah.
So, and Brittany is part of that she's the core of the family.
Yeah.
I love spending time with Britt.
Yeah.
I want to spend time with Britt, and but dude, life is busy. So what we got? Laundry, we got dishes, we got dinner, and I'm not just going to stand idly by while Britt does that. You're out of your mind, dude. I'm not a dickhead. I'm not that person, dude.
Right.
Well, most of the time. I'm going to get in, I'm going to help. And so we literally just had this conversation where it was like, hey, I don't expect you to do that. But I want to bring somebody in to do that. Not because I'm frivolous, but because I want to be able to spend time with you, man. I work hard here, put time in there. And when I come here, I want to be able to put time into you guys, not be folding laundry, doing dishes. And listen, I've been doing that for a long time. I think a lot of people will look at this as their very beginning and they think that they should have that. No, you shouldn't, dude. But you should know that you want it and you should put yourself in a position to get it.
Totally.
Totally. I mean, I remember first thing that we did was hire somebody to clean the house. And I remember Britt, I was like, man, we can't afford that. And I was like, well, then I need to make more money because I like a clean home.
Yeah.
And, this is what real estate has done, though, man. This is what multifamily has done. Passive active investing. It has allowed us to have passive income that allows us to use that passive income as a tool and know that our properties are paying for that.
Yeah.
Not me working. If I don't go to work, that money's still going to come in from these investments.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
So powerful.
But it's also compounds, and not in a long time, dude. Like 6-7 years? But 6-7 years of all-in dedication.
Totally.
So when somebody, to circle back to your question, right? Somebody asked me, what do I do? I want to enhance their belief, dude. So, my go-to is like, okay, so say that you have some money, right? And you want to invest in real estate, but you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to be a landlord. Sure. You don't know how to identify a good property. You just know that real estate's a good investment and you want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, literally I've dedicated my life to that. What I do is I have teams in place, right? We identify good areas, metrics that we study all the time and keep track on. We identify a good property. We do all the due diligence on that. We guarantee the loans, and then we partner up with investors like you. You would, partner your money up with our money, and we'd buy that. That would allow you to benefit from everything that real estate has to offer without having to deal with all the headache that real estate can create if you don't have systems in place. Operational systems. So we don't buy single family properties, right? Those are probably some of the riskiest investments you can get into. We buy big apartment buildings with investors like you, man. That's what we do. And then that dialogue starts to open, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever invested into apartments? Do you know how that works? And I'm going to ask them what they do. And if they don't ask me what I do, I'm going to ask them what they do.
Totally. That's such a good takeaway to pull out too, is ask questions, because each person, you don't know what that person's knowledge is going to be either. Right, we're kind of going off here a little bit to if when you're having these conversations with people about real estate, is you should be asking questions first. This is such a good point. We talk about having an elevator pitch and having things that you want to share right out of the gate. Sure, that's great. But once you get through that elevator pitch, you need to start asking questions to identify what their needs are and what their current knowledge is.
Yep.
Right? By you pointing out immediately that we don't think single family is the best, 90% of the population that thinks about real estate investing is thinking about flipping homes.
Yes.
Thinking about buying a single family home and renting it out.
Yep.
That's 90% of the population is thinking about that. So by you attacking that right out of the beginning, not attacking it, but addressing it right out of the beginning helps you get an understanding of their understanding and their knowledge. So that just quick actionable to pull out of there is be asking questions.
Ask questions.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience the other day when my buddy was in town. He was asking about it, and I just kind of just started going, and I just started spitting, just started saying stuff, and just kind of explaining the process on how we do it. And I get to the end, I thought I explained it really well, and he was lost.
Yeah.
So I started asking him questions, and by me understanding what his knowledge is in investing and in real estate, so much easier for me to explain to him how we do it, and for him to be able to understand.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's such a good takeaway by you explaining that. Sorry though, go on.
No, that's a perfect example, dude, because the more times you have those conversations, the better you're going to get at those conversations, right?
Totally.
And asking, and assume that person knows something that you don't.
Right.
So here on my, Lanai, I know what they do. How do I know what they do? Because I've asked them a ton of questions about what they do, because I'm just curious, right? I always have been curious. I really have.
Yeah.
So I always ask, but they haven't. No questions, and so think about that, right? On my end, I'm always wanting to ask questions to be like, okay, what do they know? Maybe they have connections, maybe they have experience in this realm or whatever that I don't know. When I go to boot camp and I teach these classes, big groups, whatever, people ask me questions all the time that I don't know. And I'll learn things at every single class, Why? Because I'm open to learning all the time, dude, all the time. So assume that person knows something that you don't know, but also, man, go in with the intention of, once again, what's my intent? I told you my intention. My intention when I'm talking to these individuals, I want to enhance their belief on what's possible. Why? Because my belief on what's possible has dramatically been enhanced. And my ability to provide for my family has been dramatically enhanced. So,
dude, that's so powerful. That's so powerful that just because of multifamily real estate and you taking that leap from that conversation that you had with Brittany in your bed in Austin to all of this come forward, it's pretty incredible. It's very incredible.
Can I tie it back to that though?
Yeah.
That was a time where we were both grinding, man. Just trying to, once again, build a foundation,
Yeah. Working hard. I'm assuming that's probably when Britt was in school.
She was just out of school.
So working hard.
Yep.
And,
and what's interesting is I look back at that time now, and it was a very challenging time.
Yeah.
But I'm also so grateful for it. And we have so many great memories. I've been grateful the whole journey, dude.
Yeah.
The whole journey, but so many great memories. But I compare that to now. And, Britt's purpose, Britt's why, what fulfills Britt, service, dude. Like, that is her to a T. She loves, this about her, so I know that but it's what she wants to do all the time. I'll come home and I'll have, tons of kids at the house. Why? Because Britt noticed that a mom or whoever could maybe use a little bit of a break. And so what does she do? She brings them over and the kids.
Tends the kids, yeah.
And tells the kids or the parents to go do whatever, right? And that's a small fraction. She notices, there's a local, petting zoo, I don't know.
Little farm.
Little
petting
farm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she goes there because she loves to explore, and she realizes that lady maybe needs some help. And what does she do? All of a sudden, she's there every other week providing service to this lady who didn't ask for it, but are so grateful for it, And then, I'll be at work and, be putting in some time and effort. And we've talked about this. I know we have, where, in fact, there was a time where our whole family, a bunch of family was over and we needed to get some work done, and everybody's out, beaching, snorkeling, and we're
grinding.
And we were grateful to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we know that we've put everyone in a position to have those kind of opportunities.
Right.
And very grateful for that, man. Brittany is an amazing person, and she has so much good to give the world. And I feel like for a long time, I was a distraction, meaning I didn't, allow her to truly do what she just has a lot to give,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I just want to facilitate all that. And multifamily real estate has given me a vehicle to be able to help with that. And she actually she sent a message. She sent me a text message that,
Go on. Yeah.
bro, I'm at an event and I was in Pasadena, and she sends me this message right before I start. And right after I read this message, well, right before I start, then I do my first session, and then a guy comes up and asks me, and I'm spacing his name, but if he's listening to this, he'll remember this. He asked me, hey man, what's a song that, one of your favorite songs or whatever? And I was like, I love that. And it was Take Me to the Ocean. And it's because that is the song that when I finally told Britt, hey, I'm ready, let's move to Maui. It was via text that I sent it to her. I was like, okay, hey, it's time, let's do it. Because I'd procrastinated it for a while, dude. And she sent me that song, Take Me to the Ocean, Take Me to the Sea. And I started crying, dude, telling this guy about that song. And it was partially because that memory is cemented into my mind, because that was a dream that I didn't know if it would ever really become a reality. And I also knew that that was one of Brittany's biggest dreams. And I want to provide everything that I possibly can, you know? Yeah. And I started just crying. He's like, oh shit. You okay? I'm like, sorry, bro. You know, it's
yeah.
Anyway, but I won't read the whole thing. It's a long one, but part of it, she said,
you can read the whole thing if you want.
No.
There's probably some things in there maybe just for you.
Yeah, talking about my dreams, making my dreams. She says, I just feel like I haven't thanked you enough for elevating my life to a position I never dreamed I'd be in. Wow.
Powerful.
And it's powerful.
And that's what multifamily's done for you.
Yep. Passive and active investing.
Yeah.
That's why I'll forever be grateful for it, dude. Forever.
So powerful, man. And I'd like, before we wrap up here and we pull out the Hawaiian value today, I just want to point out one thing. This whole time I've asked Ty why he does it, how he does it, mostly why, and how it's affected him and his family. And he hasn't talked about himself a single time. He's talked about his why. One of the things, if you follow Tyler, if you follow Dallas, same thing. They talk about making sure that your why is bigger than yourself. Yeah. And that is what Ty has talked about today, this entire episode. Is something that's greater than him, that's bigger than him, that drives him to be able to do all these things. So today I wanted to talk about why you do real estate investing, how it's impacted your family. I was hoping we could go through more of the steps on how you acquire these properties, but instead we pulled out why you've been able to accomplish all these things. And ultimately it's because you've set your why or your purpose as something that's greater than you, something that's going to pull you out of bed every single day. You talk about it all the time. Dallas talks about it all the time. We talk about it all the time, but like we really have just noticed that here today, when that wasn't even the question. That really what's going to pull you out to be able to succeed and accomplish all these things that Ty's been able to accomplish, things that all of our listeners will accomplish and that are accomplishing right now, is because of your why. It's because your why is bigger than you, and it's really going to motivate you to change your world.
Totally, dude.
I just wanted to pull that out.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. It is. Your why has to transcend self. And, you know, when you define it, you gain massive clarity. Because when you truly define it,
I couldn't agree more.
Even if you're not sure if it's possible, remove that side. Mm-hmm. Just define what you want life to look like. And know that not only is it possible, but more than that's possible. More. But when you define it, all of a sudden the universe, whatever, starts to show you things to help you get it. Mm-hmm. And once I literally just defined, like, boom, boom, this is what I want my life, and just dreamed a little bit, you know, people came out of the woodworks to enhance my belief on what was possible. And so, yes, I had this why, but why am I in the position that I am? It's because somebody enhanced my belief on what was possible. Mm-hmm. and I fucking dove in head first, dude. Head first. Why? Because I felt like I had no other option but do that. You know what I mean? Like the terror of the fear of not
taking advantage of what has been presented
far outweighed
to you.
any risk of taking advantage.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Jeez, that's powerful. Yeah, man. And actionable for this episode is just to remember the things that Ty has talked about and remember those principles. Ty, thank you so much, man. Dude. Thank you so much for diving in today. This is one of the first episodes where we really haven't had a solid outline. We've kind of just riffed back and forth and kind of let the episode take us where it's gone. So I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing a lot of those things that you've shared today as they're personal. Is there a Hawaiian value you wanted to wrap up with? I know we talked about one at the beginning.
We can do Ohana.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. We can do Ohana. And, I made a note for Ohana. Okay. It says, here's my note. It says, Ohana, it means family, right? If you've ever watched, do you remember the show that you first learned about
Lilo
Ohana?
And Stitch, dude. Come on, bro.
It means family, right? But there's this deeper meaning to the word Ohana, and I've mentioned this before, but it's more than just inclusion or not being forgotten. It's fostering loving, long-lasting relationships. And, everything that you've asked me about that's what I'm so grateful for, dude, is being able to have a place of refuge as an example, right? But to be able to foster loving relationships, dude, to be able to, just it's the little things, man, that mean the world, man, and being able to provide a place of refuge. Why do I want a big ass house on the beach? Do you know that?
I know why.
Why?
Because you want a place to provide. We've talked about this. You want a home that can be a place of refuge to literally everybody that you love. Yep. Anybody that needs it.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Families that are here on island that want to, escape for a second. I want my home to be a place of refuge for them to escape. My family and friends, whoever, that's traveling to Maui. I want to have enough space for them to come and I have a place of refuge to escape. And, have the space to do stuff like that, right? And because that brings purpose and value and meaning to my life and to Brittany's life, Yeah. And so that's why I want it. It's not because I want to, have a Ferrari in the garage. That's not I could go do that. That's not even remotely, not that Ferraris are bad. It's just not at all. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Right.
It doesn't drive me. It doesn't drive me, dude.
Yeah.
What drives me is that kind of stuff, So lasting relationships.
Is Ohana, dude. Is what you're talking about right now. Providing refuge is that principle of loving, and Ohana, dude. That's incredible.
And how do we do that? Couple bullet points to put down. Number one was trust in ourselves, and inspiring trust in others. And how do you inspire the trust in others? We talked about credibility a few episodes ago, and it was to trust yourself. Yeah. You trust yourself by, giving yourself some grace, certainly, but also holding yourself to another layer of accountability and reliability, dude, being reliable. Man. You also foster loving, lasting relationships by supporting, man. Like how much would the world change? How much would your life change if we just showed love and had enough confidence to support other people, and yourself too, right? But just support. And then forgiveness was another one. Forgiveness, being able to just forgive and forget and then move forward is very, very powerful. And then just being able to understand other people. And we talked about asking questions, listening. Dude, I was so interested in acquiring wealth, man. And so I ask questions all the time. And if whoever's listening to this, if you just do that, and know that everyone can teach you something, dude, then your belief will be enhanced on what's possible. So,
amen. Ty, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, dude.
Having us in your home, dude. This has been awesome. This has been beautiful, and I've really enjoyed diving into a podcast in a little bit different way.
I'm jealous of your view, though.
I did get the view, didn't I?
You got the good.
I got the seat with the view.
We're switching it next time.
Deal.
Hey, thanks to all you for tuning in and listening and letting me rant for a little bit. just grateful, man. Very, very grateful. And grateful for every single one of you for listening and tuning in. And I'm also very grateful that you're going to rate, review, and share the episode.
Definitely.
No, thanks so much. Have a great week. And remember, live always with aloha. Peace.